What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is August 31st of 2017. So as you all know, if you watch my channel, you probably know by now that I love getting feedback in the comments below my videos and in my live streams about what coin or token I should cover next on my channel. And it's become obviously clear with the recent explosion it's seen that you all have requested time and time again to cover Rise. I don't think I've ever gotten this many requests in such a short period of time to cover a coin or token. So let's do an actual fundamental analysis. I don't want to buy into the FOMO and, oh, you got to buy it. I really want to look into this, look at what it's objectively trying to achieve, its technology, is the team there, and its overall market. What is it aiming to tackle in the sense of its long-term objectives and really providing a sense of valuation. So I'm ready to jump into it. Let's take a look at Rise. But as always, if you watch my channel, we got to look at the numbers first. So we can see here Rise is sitting at a $56 million valuation, much higher than where it was just a few hours ago. Just yesterday, this was sitting at $20 million in valuation, and just a little over, actually a little bit under a week ago, we were sitting at an $11 million valuation. This has seen massive upside and massive volume coming over the past 24 hours. We can see that the volume almost meets the market cap. You usually don't see that with a cryptocurrency, so you can tell this is a fast runner. And this is some serious volume coming in. I'm not going to sit here and call this a pump and dump, because usually you can't pump and dump something to meet its own market cap at something like $50 million. I mean, that's just crazy. So definitely some serious buy-side action here, and the price, as we can see down here, is holding relatively steady for the majority of the gains. And the circulating supply is sitting around 113 million coins in circulation. And we'll learn that this is a version of proof of stake as we go through the analysis, delegated proof of stake more specifically, but we'll talk about that as we jump in. So let's go ahead, now that we've looked at the numbers, and look at the overview. So Rise has a very nice website here. It's relatively nice. It's not the most professional website, but it definitely tells you what they're trying to achieve. It's very, attention grabbing, and they talk about the general concepts of what Rise is trying to achieve. And they're really trying to do a few different things. There's a few selling points. There's delegated proof of stake, which is a relatively big selling point, and I'll explain what that is. There's also decentralized apps. They want to build decentralized apps and make it easy to build them for mobile platforms, desktop applications, wherever it may be. They want to be the decentralized app creator for all different platforms and all users, and make them easy and accessible both for developers and users of those platforms. And as we go down, you see that they've already had wallets. You can download a web wallet, you can download Windows, Mac, and they've got a Linux wallet coming on the way for Rise, the cryptocurrency that's used for its platform. And here's a little good video if you really want to get a very good rundown of what Rise is trying to achieve. It kind of looks all pixelated on my screen, but they've got actually a really nice video of the guy explaining, what they're trying to achieve with it, and some of the projects that are being built in the community that would benefit you as a Rise holder. There's also going to be sub-tokens. So this is a very big selling point in the sense of Rise. So it's really trying to branch off and be an ecosystem for developers, for people who are trying to bring business applications to the Rise platform or to the blockchain in general. And we'll see later on how how they make it a lot easier. There's a lot of drag and drop applications that allow people to build these kind of applications on the blockchain. But even if you're a programmer, you'll learn how much flexibility there is on this platform as well. So let's go ahead and look at some of these selling points here. We can see that there's delegated proof of stake. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a version of proof of stake where you get new circulation of for example, in this case, Rise coins, if you serve as a node. So if you serve as a node for the network, and this is something that a lot of different blockchain platforms have, but I think that this is a good way for proof of stake to help support the platform. You get new circulating supplies of the cryptocurrency. I think that's completely fine. I think it's a good selling point and encourages you to be a part in running the network. So definitely a good selling point in the sense of currency creation and the platform. And then we also have the development platform. So the SDK is actually a relatively flexible one. I've got to say that there are a lot of SDKs out there that are trying to get business application, but they're not excessively flexible in the sense of language. Sometimes it's good to be centralized towards a certain language if it's very popular and there's a multitude of business applications that can be built on that one language. However, on the Rise platform, you can build a multitude of applications in a multitude of languages. For example, I can list off some of them now. If I remember correctly, it's JavaScript, Python, C#, Ruby, and then also Java, I think was the 5 that they had on there. So I mean, the fact that they've got JavaScript Python, all these names on there. I mean, these are really big programming languages that give a ton of flexibility to developers on the SDK. Not to mention, as we'll learn later on, they do have some drag and drop features that make it a lot more simple for those who are in the business world and don't have the programming skills or the programming team to bring their applications to the blockchain. So to get those basic steps to really start testing with blockchain technology and really see if they can implement it. So a lot of other interesting things. You can see some specs here as well. Block time is 30 seconds. You'll learn about in the delegated proof of stake system, there's a voting system. They have over 101 delegates, so they've taken some different systems from Lisk and Arc and really kind of molded it. You can, if you want to learn more about the voting system, that video that I was showing on the website is a really good resource to learn about that, and I recommend you learn about it if you're gonna really want to look at this in the long term. So they've got a wonderful chart down here that talks about some different parts of the application of Rise. So you can see they have the different wallets here that you can use on different platforms. So flexibility of wallets, perfect, needed for the long term. Delegated proof of stake, receiving rewards of new Rise for hosting nodes. Decentralized applications with choice of multiple code languages. Big selling point for developers to build things on the blockchain for Rise. Very nice selling point. The Rise Incubator, I want to talk about that. I have a tab up for it, and I really want to emphasize that. But that's going to be a pretty big thing that's going to encourage people to hold Rise for the long term. An investment platform, and this is the really big thing. Smart contract builders and drag and drop development tools. As much as there's a plentiful amount of programmers in the world, the fact that they have smart contract builders and a drag and drop system for development tools, big selling point in my opinion. I don't know to what extent it goes to. Maybe they'll continue to build on it and make it more flexible. I don't know how easy it is to use. If any of you have actually used these applications in Rise, I'd like to hear back from your feedback. But I mean, absolutely, if they can actually deliver a stellar drag and drop system that allows pretty decent flexibility in building developer apps, that would be good. We all know that drag and drop doesn't give complete flexibility, but if it can give the base stages for a company to bring its application onto the blockchain, I'm pretty sure they'll feel more comfortable with getting developers to build applications and actually code on the platform. It's those basic steps that really lead to adoption. So I think Rise is interesting. I think it markets itself very well. The icon's pretty cool looking for the coin. And it seems like they've got some really good selling points with it. So before we go into a few other parts, we can see here that they have a roadmap. Is not really professional looking, but it lays out exactly what they've done, what they've completed. And I think that they've gotten a decent amount done, but you can see at the top of the list the Linux desktop wallet, which I think will be a good thing as well. And then also continuously trying to build platforms for developers to develop in general, and then also mobile applications. Very big steps to really get blockchain adopted. The biggest thing I think that a lot of people don't understand about the development side is not giving enough support for mobile development. Mobile blockchain is going to be the way crypto gets massively adopted. It's literally, it's the truth. And it's proven through the fact that we have more mobile phones nowadays rather than desktop computers. So really emphasizing that, delivering on that. That's going to be a big step for Rise in my opinion. So if we go to an overview, oh sorry, not the overview here, we want to go to the incubator. The incubator is something that interests me because, as I was saying earlier, there's sub-tokens on the exchange. So you can create new tokens for different projects in the Rise blockchain incubator. So to generally give you an understanding of what this is, they want people to really use the Rise platform, build applications on it, and build sub-tokens so you can have ownership in these projects if they become valuable. So the incubator is something that the Rise community votes on, and they're able to come up with new projects. As you can see here, there's 4 projects lined up, and they show about 2 of them on here called Interlet and Chips. Now, Chips is an online casino, which I think is a perfect thing to do in the sense of cryptocurrencies and decentralization. I think that's a good business to start off with. And then there's also person-to-person vacation rentals through Interlet. So these are funded through the community. And also, as you can see here, there's new tokens generated for each project. So it gives a sense of ownership of those projects to the community. So Rise holders, for example, you can see here, will get 20% of all Interlet tokens. Just holding your Rise gives you ownership to these new projects as they come onto the Rise platform. I think that's a big selling point. If you could get 1 or 2 successful projects like this that could replace multi-billion-dollar industries, even to just, be what would be the equivalent of a multi-million-dollar company, That's huge. That gives this token immense value. But, you know, we've got to really see this take off the ground. I don't want to overhype it too much. And, you know, generating too many projects that really don't get off the ground could really give this a bad name. So we want to make sure that, you know, one or two of these projects really takes off the ground and attracts developers onto the platform. But I think with giving the multitude of languages, the 5 languages that they offer right now on the Rise platform, we'll see that. You know, I think we could see a good project take off the ground and really get adoption. So the one thing I do want to say, though, is the team is looking relatively decent as well. You can see that they have people from a background. For example, Cormac, who worked for Cloakcoin. Cloakcoin's another cryptocurrency out there. And there's a few people who claim themselves as blockchain enthusiasts, but really a lot of them have experience in IT and programming over the past few years. And then they also have a decent list of the community team as well. So interesting stuff. I think they need to beef up their team if they're really trying to take on, you know, and build this platform to build the flexibility of developers. Definitely need a large team of developers on their team as well. I think if they could boost that up, if they could really start bulking up their team, I think with the rise in valuation, no pun intended, you know, they could really do that. But I really think if they can beef up their team a little bit more, nothing insulting towards them, but just I think they're going to get a lot of people, especially in the developer space, to make this a reality. It's a very ambitious project, much like every other cryptocurrency is. So definitely want to see this take off in the long term. I think that there's a lot of fundamental winning categories here in the sense of fundamental values that make this a great project. We've just got to see a general sense of developers coming onto the platform, both for the team of Rise and then also general developers using the SDK to build business applications. So interesting concept, interesting philosophical objectives, but we've got to see a little more adoption, in my opinion. So on to the point where you all are wondering about, am I buying Rise at these levels? Folks, you know me, I don't buy highs, and I also don't buy a chart that looks like this, even one where the wicks is down and it's, you know, not at its fresh highs. We can see here on the hourly, and a lot of you might say, oh, Nick, this is starting to wedge out here and it's going to start breaking out. I don't know if it's going to or not, folks, but I've got to see a nice, stable hold at the highs, okay? I do not buy when something is well over 3 times of what it was just a few hours ago, or just a day or two ago. I mean, that's just trading technical analysis 101. On a fundamental level, if you want to invest in this long term, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference buying between here and there. If you really want to hold this for the next few years and you believe that developers are going to just leap towards this platform, you might not want to miss the opportunity. But for me personally, I'm not going to be buying at these levels. Nothing negative on the project, nothing negative towards the team, the objectives. I think it's all fantastic. However, I think there was too much volume, too much FOMO coming into this, and it ran up way too quick. I just don't get how all of a sudden all this optimism rushed into this cryptocurrency. It still amazes me. There was 10,000 Bitcoin worth of volume coming into Rise. It was such a small cryptocurrency. That definitely says something. It says that there's some institutions that are interested in this rather than just, you know, pumping and dumping. So we'll have to watch on it. If it holds pretty steady around its highs and I really see a good value proposition for it, it's only a $50 million cryptocurrency right now. There might be more room for this to go if it really has the you know, the fundamentals behind it to really take off towards being one of the big boys in the cryptocurrency space. But quite frankly, it's a little too overpriced for me right now, and you know, on a technical sense, I'm going to follow my rule set and not buy at fresh highs. Okay. But I'd love to hear what you all think on a fundamental sense of this cryptocurrency. Are you holding Rise for the long term? Have you been a long-term holder yourself? Are you interested in buying it? Do you not really see all the optimism that everyone's been putting into this cryptocurrency in the sense of price action? I'd love to get a discussion going on in the comments down below and hear what you all think about it. But until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.